Okay, today I just want to address a couple questions, actually just one question. We've gotten a lot of questions about not only how to throw a curveball, but how to keep your curveball from hanging in the strike zone too long, or your curveball squirting on you, or your curveball hanging. Ways to avoid that. First of all, throwing a curveball has everything to do with the grip, how you're gripping it, how you're releasing the baseball. A lot of people that try to throw a curveball actually end up throwing a slider because there's not that much of a difference. And I'll show you here. First of all, when you throw a curveball, your wrist is actually straight right here. At release, you're coming around. This isn't my natural arm slot, by the way. My natural arm slot is about right there. But you want to throw the curveball here with your wrist straight, okay? And a slider is right here. A slider, you're actually coming under the baseball like that. A curveball, you're coming over the top of the baseball like this, down. And I usually end, when I throw my curveball, I'll end here. When I throw my slider, I'll end there. So there isn't that big of a difference. But that's one of the things, one of the issues when people try to throw that curveball, it'll actually be a slider instead, just because by the time you get here at release, if you're right there, that's a slider. If you're right here, there's not that big of a difference. There's your curveball. Alright, so the grip, it's just really simple. I also tell you this in my one of my other videos. You want to split the grip, you want to split the baseball in half with your thumb and your middle finger, just like that. And I usually use just those two laces. I think everybody knows how to grip the curveball. The space between your hand and the ball, it just varies between people. For me, I've actually had more success, more drop on the ball, just by simply moving my hand a little bit further away from the ball, like that. A lot of people find more success putting the ball a little deeper, which most people put it deep. I have found just more success, I don't know why, with my thumb a little bit like that, a little bit more space right there. When I teach a beginning curveball, somebody a beginning curveball, I usually have their index finger straight up like that, just because you don't really need your index finger on the ball at all. But you need to get used to holding your index finger, putting your index finger down there when you're throwing that in a game. Most of the curveballs, when I teach somebody a curveball, typically it's in the off season. It's usually somebody in high school that's never really learned how to throw a great curveball. People can throw good curveballs, but I'll tell you, once you know how to throw a great curveball, you're going to have a lot of success. Just because a lot of hitters, they struggle. Even the best, you watch Major League Baseball, when somebody has a great curveball, they struggle with that pitch. They'd rather wait for a fastball, obviously, or wait for a high changeup or something like that. All right. To answer the question, your curveball is not is just hanging in the strike zone. It's actually or squirting on you. Here's how you take care of that. You actually take care of that mechanically. The thing you do want to avoid, once you get to foot strike and rotate, right at release, you want to make sure the ball or the glove is right out here in front of you, and your wrist and forearm angle are straight like this. Now, my arm slot's about right out here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's out right here. I have to make sure I release the baseball right there. My wrist is right there. If I'm like that, again, that's a slider. So I'm coming down right here. My thumb comes up like that, and then I come straight down. So my wrist and forearm angle are right there. I usually end right there. Okay. Again, with the slider, I'm coming around like that. But to answer the question, one of the reasons why it will hang is if your head isn't aligned at release, if your head isn't aligned over this knee, okay, or over this leg. If you're over here, okay, and you don't have a good squeeze and swivel, if that glove isn't right in front of you and you're pulling off to the side, it's going to squirt on you. Also, if you pull this glove in hard and you drop this shoulder aggressively, you're never going to find, well, you'll be hard pressed to find a great release of that baseball. So to recap, grip and wrist and forearm angle have everything to do with great rotation on that curveball. So just make sure you grip it the right way, wrist and forearm angle are straight. Once you get to this point, come down on that baseball. Your thumb's going to come up like that right before release, just up on that baseball, boom, and you'll have a great curveball.